Guys, what's going on? It is your favorite Panda Bear here today. Today I got something a bit different for you guys. We're going to take a little peek at the Battlefield 3 multiplayer fact sheet. And if your sub boxes are anything like mine, they have been spammed to hell from Caspian border gameplay analysis. And while I was thinking about doing something like that, I figured, why don't I cover this? A lot of people haven't done the fact sheet, so as far as I know, at least in my sub boxes, I haven't seen any type of review of this or anything like that. So that same day, in case you don't know, that the Caspian border gameplay was officially launched to the public, if you will, they also showed us 4 multiplayer fact sheets from Battlefield 3, which would have been at the Gamescom event if you were there in person. I was not. I just found these online, along with many other people, I'm sure. So if you haven't seen the first page already, which I will have a link down below to all 4, it's not really anything that's going to give us much news. It just talks a bit about the game's key features and things like that. So Frostbite 2 engine talks about some of that, the vehicle warfare, just the things that really make Battlefield Battlefield. One thing I did want to note, though, in case you haven't heard of it already, the extensive co-op campaign, and there are unique maps and missions that are available for players to tackle online with a friend, using co-op specific gameplay features. Co-op missions tie into the single-player story. So what that tells me there is that the co-op mission type of deal that you're going to be able to do on Battlefield 3 is going to be limited to online, so probably not 2 people on one console, depending though on what they meant by that. I'm not sure, don't quote me. As well as it's going to stick to 2 players. So anyways, and then one more thing I wanted to note was the enhanced persistence, and I'll just read the whole thing for you guys. There's always a new rank or reward to unlock in Battlefield 3. The depth and the vast range of unlockable weapons, vehicles, upgrades, and tools will keep Battlefield 3 players occupied for years to come. So that tells me one of 2 things. One being that they have completely made it almost impossible to level up, which would really suck if they just, instead of trying to add more content and more ways to unlock them, if they just made it so that way it takes years to get to the last level. I hope not. I doubt it, but still a possibility. Or the second one, and hopefully the truth, that they have added some more variety and that they spaced their unlocks out just a bit more, because I think it was after 23 in Bad Company 2, you couldn't unlock anything new, so that was unfortunate. But hopefully they addressed that and fixed it in Battlefield 3. So that's pretty much the first page. Now we'll move on to page 2. Okay, so starting off on the top here, we're going to see some more key multiplayer features. Again, this is just really what makes Battlefield Battlefield. Epic scale vehicle and infantry warfare, customizable the customizable dog tags. Those are something a bit new, but not new news. It does say customizable vehicles on this, which is kind of shady. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually. Alright, so moving on to the classes, nothing that we don't know. Assault, Recon, Support, and Engineer, nothing new there, not even going to really bother with that. Alright, so let's start with the smallest category of the weapons, the battle rifles. And these battle rifles are all semi-auto, there's only 2 of them, but let's start with the M39 EMR, or the M39 Enhanced Marksman Rifle. Okay, so this is going to be the American battle rifle that they have so far, and again, these aren't every single listed gun. This isn't everything, so they could still add more and obviously take things away. They're not even in beta yet, guys, so don't take this too seriously. But these have been confirmed in for now, so. Anyways, it's an American semi-auto rifle. It looks similar, and I'm going to guess feels similar to the M14 of past games. It's got that same type of characteristic. But again, this is just guesses, so I'm not sure. Moving on to the SKS. This is going to be the Russian variation. It is a semi-auto again. It's pretty much going to be just kind of like the G3, but G3 meets M14 meets M1A1 meets M1 Garand. That's really the best explanation I could talk about it. It's a long-range weapon, again, medium to long, and it could have easily been called a sniper rifle, but they're going with the battle rifles. So yeah, this is probably most likely going to be resembled as the M1 Garand, would be the closest thing I can think about it. So Alright, moving on to the submachine guns. We have on top the P90, and this is a gun that we have seen in a lot in a other competitive game, we will call it. It is a 50 round magazine standard, pretty high rate of fire. Generally speaking, it's kind of a wonky looking gun, but again, doesn't know how, or I don't know how they're going to try to implement it. I'm assuming they're going to try to stick as close as they can. Alright, down below we have the gun called the MP7, and I know what most of you guys are probably thinking, the MP5, just right off your brains. This is kind of a similar gun. It's not the same gun though. It's a German-made gun. It is a 20 round magazine standard, so it's pretty much the way that it works is it's going to empty its clip in about half of a second. So I don't know, again, it depends on how true they stay to real life, but it's kind of a weird looking gun. If you know what a Uzi looks like, that would be the closest thing I can tell you. Alright, so down below that we have the PDR. And I can't entirely speculate on what this is going to be, because PDR stands for the Personal Defense Rifle. There is a company that makes these personal defense rifles, and they actually call them that, but I don't know if that's what they're going to call this, so I can't entirely speculate. If it is that same company, it's kind of a like a minimized M16, if you will, I suppose would be one of the closer things you can say to it. Again, kind of a bulkier P90, if you will. Alright, down below that we have the UMP-45 returning, a Russian gun. Not a whole lot special about it, just good classic Russian engineering there. So down below that we have the P90TR, and I know what you're thinking. What's different from that in the P90? It's not really like the actual description of a P90 and a P90TR are not different at all. The TR, I'm not entirely sure what it stands for. I would assume something like, yeah, I don't even know, I'm not going to try to guess, but pretty much the difference is that it has a railing on top and a silencer included. Just as soon as it's factory made, it has a built-in silencer, so I'm not sure how they're going to implement the changes on that, but we'll have to see. So, alright, and the last gun is the PP2000. Again, it's a returning classic, 20 round magazine standard. Probably going to buff it up to 30 though, I'm not sure. Again, I'm only speculating. Just in general, it was one of my favorite guns from Bad Company 2, so I'm hoping that they don't ruin it in Battlefield 3. Alright, so the submachine guns are out of the way, let's move on to the assault rifles. Okay, so looking at the first assault rifles, we really just have similar guns that we're used to. The M16A4, the AK-74M, and I know what some of you guys are thinking, the AK-74 is a submachine gun, right? Wrong. AK-74 Marksman was going to be what this one stands for, and it's just pretty much a modified AK-47. Alright, moving on, the M416, the AN-94, again, names that we recognize. Down below is the first one that might throw you guys for a loop, the KH-2002. This is pretty much, like, the closest thing I can resemble it to is the AUG, or the AUG. It's made by the same company, it's got the same design, just going to be the AUG. You might notice some differences, but that's pretty much what you're going to be looking at. Alright, the AEK-971, again, another variation of the AK. The F2000, the G3, two more guns that we're used to and we know. The ASVAL, that is something that you guys might be curious about, but you know, this is actually a pretty weird looking gun. I'm going to have some trouble explaining it, so instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a big fat picture of it. Bam! Alright. It's going to be a Russian gun, most likely. I can't find good information about it. I happen to know nothing about it as well, so... anyways, it comes standard with a 20 round magazine as well as a silencer equipped, but we'll just have to see what they do with it, so... Alright, assault rifles, check. Moving on to the carbines. Okay, so the first carbine that we're going to see is the M4A1. I want to talk just really quick about the difference of an M4A1 and the M416. They are oftentimes mistaked as the same gun or virtually the same thing, just, you know, a bit different. And it's actually quite a bit different. The difference between a carbine and a assault rifle is pretty much the weight differences. There's going to be more heavy back weight on a carbine and more balanced weight on the assault rifles. So that way, if you're using a carbine, they're pretty much just a bit more multi-purpose submachine guns. They're like right in between that road of a assault rifle and a submachine gun. They're that multi-purpose type of deal. Whereas a assault rifle is medium long range, if you think about it. Submachine gun, honestly, you shouldn't be shooting farther than long or close range rather, and occasionally some medium range if you have to. But the difference between an M416 and an M4A1, pretty much, again, just depending on where the stock is, depending on where the foregrip is, the weight difference is a bit changed, the rate of fire has a bit of changes, just little things like that that make a big difference. But yeah, the AK-74U is next. Again, just a variation of the AK-74U. The SCAR HCQB, or Close Quarters Battle, the G36C, and I'll talk just really quick about the G36C. It's pretty much the closest thing that it's going to feel like is going to be the M4A1 or the M4 carbine, depending on how you want to say it. They're not tons different, but personally, I love games with the G36C, and there's not very many. Left 4 Dead 2, Call of Duty 4, can I say that? I think so. Anyways, moving on, the AN91 is following that one up with some Thunder. So this one's a pretty weird looking gun. It's kind of similar to a AUG's design. It has the bullpup design. Pretty much the closest thing I think it's going to feel like, and I honestly, I don't know much about it, but I would guess it's going to be something like the combination of the M16 and the, I want to say the AUG from Bad Company 2. But again, just speculation as to what I read on sites and things like that, and what I'm going to guess is going to translate into the game. So down below it is the longest abbreviation you will ever see, the SG553LB. This is a weird looking gun. It's kind of like the G3. I'll show a picture of it. Again, I'm probably going to show a picture of all these, but anyways, there you go. It looks a lot like the G3, though it is fully automatic, so I'm going to guess it's going to feel a lot like the Bad Company 2 Vietnam G3, or the M14, excuse me. So yeah, that's it for the carbines. Now let's move on to the shotguns. Alright, so the first shotgun is the 870 MCS, or the 870 Military Combat Shotgun. It's your standard pump action shotgun, not a whole lot new. We saw it in Bad Company 2. I'm not a Battlefield 2 player, I'll admit, so I don't know for sure if it was in there, but I'm gonna guess it was. Alright, the M1014, again, nothing new. We've seen it before. This one, I don't know if it was in Battlefield 2 again. It was in Battlefield Play for Free. That's honestly where I'm pretty sure the only place we've seen it. Could be from Battlefield 2, but it's just a semi-auto shotgun. Nothing special there. It's kind of hard to describe the differentials, if you will. Wow, couldn't pronounce that word, could I? Anyways, of a shotgun, because it's pretty explanatory. Pump, boom, dead. Anyways, the USAS-12, I know you guys are glad this weapon is returning. I know it was one of everyone's favorites from Bad Company 2. No, it wasn't. Oh well, too bad. The DAO-12 is the only new shotgun we're going to see, and it is a pretty cool looking gun, actually. It's nicknamed the Street Sweeper, so you can kind of get an idea for its range of fire, or its spread distance, if you will. And it's, all in all, a pretty beastly looking gun. It has a 12 shell round drum at the bottom of it. It's not a single action or a pump action, it's just pull the trigger as fast as you can, and hopefully many people die. I'm going to guess this is going to be overpowered and hated. Just a prediction. Alright, and last but not least, the Sega 20K. Again, I know you guys are so glad that it's back. Okay, so as far as the machine guns go, there's not actually a whole lot new. We're starting off with the M249, which we already know and love, and some of you guys might be thinking, no we don't, but yes we do. It is also nicknamed the SAW, or the SAW, for Squad Automatic Weapon. Alright, down below that one is the RPK 74M. The numbers in the letter, just special fancy, try to throw you off the trail talk. The M27 IAR, really the only new gun that we see here. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure why it is a machine gun instead of an assault rifle. It is a magazine fed instead of a belt feed, and it's 30 round magazine, lightweight. Doesn't exactly explain and machine gun characteristics, but who am I to argue, right? So anyways, this is going to be an American gun. No shocker, because we do like our complicated names. Anyways, moving on to the Pecheneg. God, I have no idea. When you see this, you're going to immediately think Russian M60, and that's pretty much what it is. So it is made by the similar company that makes the RPK. It's pretty much the RPK on steroids, so I'm not sure why exactly it looks so American, but it sure does. So anyways, moving on down below, we have the American M60, always good to see. The M240. This is, again, a gun that we have seen, just your standard light machine gun, spray and pray, things like that. Nothing too fancy there. Probably going to have a 200 round magazine, that's what it comes standard with. Alright, and down below that one, at the very bottom, we see the Type 88, and this gun has a little bit of controversy over it just because it is a physical warfare package gun, and I'm just not even going to go into that because it's already all been sorted out, but yeah, so that's in the game as well, and let's move on to the noob tubes. Alright, so starting off, I suppose a disclaimer. I said noob tubes, they're not actually noob tubes, they're the rocket launchers. So, alright, so on the top we see the SMAW. That stands for the Shoulder Launched Multi-Purpose Assault Weapon. So this is going to be one of the two, possibly three, can be fired as well, not at a air vehicle or a ground vehicle. But anyways, it's pretty much just your standard rocket, nothing special there. Not gonna go through the explosive power. It's a big boom. All right, and then next we have the Javelin, something that I believe is new to the Battlefield series. Oh, excuse me, the RPG, but I don't know. I don't feel the need to talk about that. And then down below that, the Javelin, and I believe it's new to the Battlefield series. It is a launcher that generally takes 2 men to fire, but I'm assuming that you're just the Iron Man in this game, so you can carry it by yourself, but pretty much I'm assuming this is going to be a lock-on only type of thing, most likely going to be for ground vehicles, anti-tank, anti-Humvee, but probably going to be used for anti-tank. Might even be a one-hit kill, I don't know. It could be used as well. This is kind of that wishy-washy one that might be the third free fire, if you will, even though you have to lock it on first, but that's not the point. And the RPG-7 would be the second one, by the way. Alright, the FIM-92 Stinger. It is just another anti-air missile, also known as an SAM missile, surface-to-air missile. Wow, missile. Can I say missile anymore? Yes, I can. Alright, down below that, the SA-18 IGLA. This is also known as the Grouse. The Gross. I don't know what they were going for there, but this is a man-portable air defense system, so it makes me believe this is going to be an anti-air only thing again. Doesn't know, or I can't completely confirm that, but depends on how real they stick with real life stuff. So down below that, the AT-4. Again, one of those that might be free fire, might not be. I don't know. Alright, now the dreaded sniper rifles. So on top we're going to see the MK11 or the MK11 Mod 0 sniper weapon system. The MK11 Mod 0 we saw in the Caspian Border gameplay trailer, so we now know that that is a sniper rifle in case you didn't before. So it's a semi-auto American gun. Not a whole lot of information that I could find on it. I'm sure if I looked a bit harder I could have, but I know it comes standard with a silencer on it, but again, just depends on how they implement that. So next we see the SVD, or the Dragunov sniper rifle. We've seen this a lot in the past, but who knows, they might do something a bit new with it. I just want to note out that that is also known as the Dragunov. Alright, the SV98 we see returning, and down below that, the M98B, or the Barrett M98. It's not a whole lot of, it's not an exactly stand-outish weapon to me. It seems similar to the M95, which isn't exactly shocking, I know, but it's a bolt-action sniper rifle, so bolt-action fans rejoice. We have another one other than the SV98 in this game confirmed. Down below that, the M4OA5. And unless DICE knows something that I don't, which I'm sure they do, I cannot find for the life of me any information on the M4OA5. I didn't know of its existence before yesterday morning, but I can speculate just off of past M40 models that it is going to be a semi-auto weapon, so though very well could be a bolt action, judging off the M4OA3, so we'll have to wait and see. Next up, the Barrett M82, excuse me, so again, or the M82A3 is what they call it, but it's a Barrett M82. This is the big bada boom. This is gonna send chills down your spine if you have a good sound system. It is a 50 caliber weapon, semi-auto of course. God, could you imagine trying to like bolt action every time? Like you'd just be completely destroyed after shooting this. So I'm going to be kind of pissed off when I see some 360 no scope spam fire with this thing, but no doubt it'll be there. So yeah, guys, that's the sniper rifles. Now let's move on to the handguns or pistols. Alright, so we don't really see any new guns here. The M9, the PYA MP443, also known as the MP443 Garage, the G17, just another single auto weapon. I don't know if it's been in the past, but it's just another single auto, or single fire rather, semi-auto, whatever you want to call it. Just your standard pistol. The M1911 returning, the T44, and I believe DICE has trollface.exe on for this one. I looked and looked and looked and looked. I could find everything besides a T44 pistol. I found a truck, I found a tank, I found a light machine gun. No such thing as the pistol from what I could find. So I got nothing for you guys on this one. Alright, next the MP412. This is also known as the Rex from Bad Company 2. Single shots. It's just a Magnum revolver. So, alright, down below we have the G18. This is actually a selective fire or a multiple firing mode single auto. God, single shot as well as full auto. Probably burst mode on there too at some point. But so yeah, that might be our only full auto gun that has been confirmed. Alright, the M93R, another gun that I couldn't find anything about for the life of me, but from what I remember just from, just my past gun outings and things like that, I'm fairly confident that the M93R is a tracer dart of sorts, so it might be our tracer there. I'm not sure, don't quote me again, but yeah, that's just some speculation, so let's move on to the weapon accessories. Alright, so I will be perfectly honest with you guys. A lot of these are just red dot sight variations, so I'm not going to go through all of them. The only one that's really noticeably different is the M145 optical sight. It's on top. It is most likely going to be used for M4, and a lot of this is what this is just different weapons require different side railings and things like that. They have different rails, and what I mean by rails is on the top of your weapons you have a rail mount to, whatever, attach your optics, attach your ACOG sights, sniper scopes, whatever you want to do. But a lot of different guns have a lot of different rails, so a lot of these just go on to different guns. The M145, however, goes on top, excuse me, is noticeably different. It kind of looks like a mini crosshair, as well as it is the scope that is oftentimes your crosshair on your screen for the grenade launcher. It also looks like that from time to time, so. Anyways, gonna move down to the next thing that is not a red dot sight, the ACOG, which we have seen in the past as a 4x scope in Battlefield games, oftentimes. There's not much variation, just some color differences from time to time. Sometimes they are only a 2x scope zoom, but we'll have to see what they do with it. Alright, down below, the PSO-1. This is generally a sniper scope. It is actually the default scope for the Dragunov, so I don't know how they're going to implement this. It is a 4x zoom normally, so maybe it'll just be a different variation of the sniper scope you can have, but also might just be that they got into extreme detail listing that they have the correct scope on their gun. So alright, the next noticeably different one is the IRNV, which stands for infrared night vision. You can probably guess, infrared night vision is what it does. It's going to be a night vision scope, so apparently you're going to have to attach different guns with the infrared scopes, so that's kind of weird. Kind of cool, but kind of weird. Alright, and then we're going to see the PKS-07. This one I had a bit of trouble finding again, but it is just another sniper scope. Generally goes on to the Dragunov again, so I don't know what they're doing here. Starting to see a trend, but kind of making my head hurt. So SV98 as well. Russian guns, typically speaking, is going to be where this is mounted on top of, but we'll have to see. So then down below, the 8x rifle scope and the 12x ballistic. The 8x is going to be your general all-purpose default scope, would be my guess. Again, no promises, but yeah, guys, that is the second page, technically, first and second page of the multiplayer fact sheet for Battlefield 3. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time with page 3 and page 4.